Mabel, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here with you.
So, what's the easiest way?
Well, I found the easiest way in Ho Oponopono. That is a very ancient Hawaiian art of problem solving. In my search for happiness and peace, I had a little voice that said, there has to be an easier way. There has to be an easier way, because I did many things, but there was a lot of drama. People engage, react, blame. Yes, they find somebody to blame for their problems. And I thought there has to be an easier way.
Yeah, I've done quite a bit myself. A lot of Eastern traditions, Buddhism, Taoism, that type of stuff. Ho Oponopono is very simple, isn't it?
Too simple. For the intellect, it's too simple. So the intellect will say, no way.
And so Ho Oponopono essentially is based off of three states of being, right? The subconscious, the regular conscious or the intellect, and then the superconscious, right?
We are participating in the best video game in town.
Yeah.
Or we are part of. So life is actually happening in our subconscious mind, the memory that we've been accumulating. Yes, we accumulated things when we were kids, somebody told you, somebody did something to you, decisions that you made, but most of them are from past lives. And that's something that we need to wake up to realize that the problems that we are having now has nothing to do with what is happening now, but they are all memories from past lives. And we are here to correct errors. The word Ho'oponopono means how to correct an error. So life is replay memories that are in our subconscious mind. That is why we talk about 100% responsibility, okay? So no guilt, but what am I responsible for? The memories that are playing in my subconscious mind. So that's one. Yeah. Then the conscious mind. The conscious mind is the one that God gave us to have free choice. So things come to you, they are perfect, even if they don't look like, but now you have free choice. You react, not react, you take responsibility, don't take responsibility, you go A instead of B. I mean, you are responsible, okay, for your decisions. And your decisions is what makes actually your destiny. Maybe you come with the destiny, but you can change it based on the decisions that you make. Now, and we all have a perfect part in us. That is the superconscious mind. That part is always connected to divinity, universe, nature, whatever you want to do. So no matter what is going on between this relationship between, we call it mother, the intellect, and we call child, the subconscious mind. So it doesn't matter what is going on in this relationship between mother and child, the superconscious mind or the father never interferes because we have free choice. The most important thing of this is not like I need to understand, but this gives me an idea of how this works, right. And what happens when I actually choose to let go instead of react.
In Eastern traditions, these memories might be called karma.
Exactly. So past memories, yes, we come to correct errors. Yeah, the Kabbalah calls it the tikkun. Yeah, so we are all talking about the same thing. We are here to correct errors, and nothing happens by accident.
And the
universe is perfect.
And the other thing about the subconscious mind is it's all connected. So mine is connected to yours, and yours is connected to your neighbor, and so this is what many people call the collective.
The collective, the one mind, yes. That's why in Ho'oponopono we say whatever gets erased from you, it actually gets erased for everybody. Yes. Yeah. So you can make a big difference just by doing this from home, being alone, and you never know how many lives you could save, how many things you could avoid, only because you were willing to take responsibility and do your part.
Yeah, in A Course in Miracles, it's called the sonship. They call it the sonship. So different traditions, different genres, all the same thing.
Exactly.
But the big thing that I love about Ho Oponopono is the responsibility aspect.
Me too. Me too. That set me free. You know, see, I wanted to be independent since I was a little child. I was always looking, you know, to make money so I wouldn't depend. I mean, and when I found about Ho'oponopono, you know, some people run away, you know, when you tell them you are responsible because they think you are telling them you are guilty, you know. But responsibility sets you free. Responsibility is that it's up to you, that you don't depend on anybody or anything outside yourself. And when I realized that, really, I felt free for the first time in my life. It made me very happy.
So if somebody you're close to, say a best friend, you've known them for 20, 30, 40 years, if they say something to you and it triggers you, it triggers, let's just say anger or frustration, you're responsible for the anger and frustration, right?
Yeah, well, it is basically Ho'oponopono, if you want to understand it, is about that taking 100% responsibility and saying, I'm sorry for whatever is in me that, you know, he's aggressive or he's angry or even for his problem or even if it's a sickness or something, you know. But again, it's not because you are guilty, you know, it's very, very different. It is about you taking responsibility, that there is a common memory there, that nothing is an accident and these people are coming to you for you to take responsibility to turn on the light. Yes, I always say a problem is that the light is off. Who's going to turn it on? Because it turns off for everybody.
How powerful is the sentence, I love you?
Yeah, well, I love you, they think you are very powerful, but I always like to mention that in Ho'oponopono, those words don't mean what we think they mean, because they are passcodes. They are easy ways to do Ho'oponopono, okay? So, for example, my teacher, Dr. Ihaliakala, heard once, it says, just tell them to say thank you, I know what they mean. So you don't have to say I'm sorry, please forgive me. You don't have to say, I'm sorry, I'm wondering what is going on in me, you know, that this is coming up, or what is the memory. You don't need to understand or anything, but you need to know that there is something inside of you and you can change it if you work directly with source, yes? Whatever you understand for that. And that is letting go. We call it letting go and letting God or source or whatever, yes? So that's what you want. You want to let go and you want to just take responsibility that it's something in you, and it's not, again, that you are guilty, but you are giving permission for somebody to erase it, a more intelligent mind than yours, that knows why the problem, where the problem is, what you are ready to let go, etc., etc. Because sometimes, Kevin, not even the problem is what you think it is. Again, it's not what is happening in the present moment. It's just a memory replaying. So, and you never know what you are cleaning with. We use, you know, I could tell you, I'm cleaning with this, you know, that is happening. But what is it really? I don't know. Only God knows. Yeah. So I would like to actually tell you, I was not a believer. You know, Ho'oponopono made me a believer. I do call it God, but I'm going to tell you what I call God. I call God a part of me that is inside of me and that knows me better than anybody else, that knows all my problems, that has the solutions to all my problems, but it's just waiting for me to see if I let go or not, you know, because if I engage, I think, I worry, you know, cannot do anything.
That's the video game, to let go.
That's exactly. So what, you know, the blue or the red pill?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Right. And so in order to clean, as it's called, we use these phrases.
Yes.
And, you know, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. But you're saying you can just do I love you.
I'll tell you what Ho'oponopono could look like mentally, okay? We do it mentally. So you are talking to me and I repeating, thank you, 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 thank you. Oh, I love you, or any combination. Or a lot of people are using the 4 phrases, the I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you, and it works. A lot of people are doing my way. I let go and trust, or I'm not gonna worry, and you see results. But why? You are letting go. You are not reacting. Yeah, what you resist persists. You are allowing a more intelligent part of you to intervene.
Well, not only that, but it's also a pattern breaker for your mind. So instead of your mind wandering, you're breaking it by saying, I love you.
Exactly. Because this takes you to the past, takes you to the future. You are never present. And we need to realize that all we have is this present moment.
That's right.
That's it. We don't have anything else. So wasted time worrying, going to the future, imagining things, waste of time going back to the past, so that we keep replaying. If we keep living in the past, how could we change the future? No way. Yes. So your job is just to be present moment by moment. Also, in that way, you are more alert. You can recognize the signs. Yes. Life start happening to you instead of you pushing life to happen. You understand?
Yeah. And by doing it, you do become more loving. I mean, I like to hug trees,
Yeah, connecting with nature. I always tell people, maybe it's not a Ho Oponopono tool, but definitely, connecting with nature, also noticing how nature flows, yes, or how birds flow, or how they have, birds know where they find their food, yes, and it's usually close to where they are. Why are we always looking out there, or going far, away, like the alchemist, yes, to find out that then it was in your house.
Right there the whole time, yeah. And Jesus said, the birds are taken care of. So.
Exactly. So we have to realize, yes, we talk about karma, we talk about the possibility of correcting errors, but one thing that I tell people is, if we do it God's way instead of our way, it will be easier and there will not be suffering. Yeah, we didn't come to suffer, even though that we came to make amends, let's say. Yes, but if you don't take it personal, and you go with the flow, it will be much, much easier.
So when somebody's starting out, let's say their first month doing Ho Oponopono, the practice, I mean, they're cleaning a lot. I mean, it's tedious because it's all the time. So
well, because also you are paying too much attention to that, or you are trying to do it perfect, or you are questioning, am I doing it right? And that makes it tedious. That makes it. But when you flow like a child, it becomes natural.
Yeah, the more you do it, the more it becomes automatic too, doesn't it?
Exactly. That's the idea. And we in the Ho Oponopono trainings, we work with the inner child, the subconscious mind. We need that help, and that's the part that can do it in automatic, like it does your breathing, like it does all your, takes care of all your body functions.
So when we are cleaning, we're talking to our subconscious, also known as the inner child, right? And then that sends an energetic response up to your higher self or your super consciousness, and then that shoots out to divinity, right?
Yeah, basically the intellect, our mind, is the one that has the free choice. So it's the one that chooses to let go, to do the cleaning. So that is like an order that the intellect gives to the subconscious mind. And it's like the subconscious mind starts working with God, what is it that we are ready to let go, cleaning up house, yes, looking in the drawers and things like that. And then that petition goes to the superconscious mind. Yeah, we say that the intellect cannot go directly. So it has to go through the inner child, and the inner child makes the connection with the superconscious mind, and the superconscious mind makes the connection with divinity. The superconscious mind is like cleans up the petition, it knows what is right, and puts it up to divinity. And immediately this happens, again, this is only information for the intellect. Do you have to know all this to do Ho Oponopono? No, yes, but this gives you an idea that something is happening when you are saying thank you or saying I love you, because the intellect feels I'm not doing anything. Let's do something.
Especially for a beginner, do you think that them going back to past events would be a good idea to talk to the inner child, like say something happened to them when they're 12 and they're still holding on to it?
Well, it could be, again, the intellect doesn't know because it doesn't have, the intellect might think it's that happened to you when you were 12, but really you don't know. So yes, you can always talk to your inner child and say, please let go. Actually, that's all you have. The only thing that your inner child needs to hear is, we are together now. Now I know that you exist, we are together. Now we are going to work directly with God. I'm not going to abandon you. I'm not going to neglect you. There is nothing we need to worry about. And actually you can talk to your child and ask very lovingly, please let go, because this is the part of you. But actually when you are saying thank you, when you're saying I love you, it's a way of talking to the inner child. The inner child knows how to do this. So it is, again, it's part of this circuit, that happens every time that you say thank you, I love you. But the most important, I think, Kevin, that we need to convey here is that we are all unique, and you have to do it. Dr. Ihal Yakala, my teacher, used to say, God doesn't treat us as cattle. Everybody do this, everybody that, follow your own inspiration. You take this information and you say, this is what works for me. Or you be more spontaneous and you do what works in the moment, that it might change. Right now you want to say, I'm sorry, please forgive me. And the next moment you just want to say, thank you, or I love you. So it's not about questioning, again, am I doing it right? You do it your way, because you are unique and you only know what works for you.
Yeah, I do thank you, I love you a lot as a continuous mantra, and then I bring the forgive stuff in if needed.
Exactly. I mean, you are the one, in charge, and you are the one that knows what works for you in that moment. And again, it's not about this is what you have to repeat, this is the order that you have to repeat. No, just go with the flow in the moment. Whatever comes out, don't even question it.
So if somebody's on a walk, beautiful walk, and then all of a sudden a thought comes by about
I need to pay the telephone bill.
Yeah, or a judgment on mom or dad or something like that.
Yeah.
I love it.
Just say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, but I'm enjoying the ride, or I also use a lot of thank you, but I'm busy. Thank you, but I'm busy. So again, it's about, lovingly also, because again, what we resist, if we put the intellect is bad, guess what? You are resisting it. Yeah. So no, you make it a friend. Yes. Thank you, but I'm busy right now. and I always said that Ho Oponopono was my meditation, 24-hour meditation. And, looking more into meditation and everything, really all people that teaches, the people that teaches meditation, they always talk about letting go. Yes, meditation is about letting go. Meditation is observing and letting go, not engaging. And Ho Oponopono is exactly the same, but 24 hours a day. Observe, do not engage, let it pass. Yes? You have a judgment, you cling with it, you let it go. You understand what I mean? So how could you be at that stage, that vibration, called that energy, of being connected, with the, at a higher vibration, being connected with source, and being able to be guided and protected, and knowing that you don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah, it's almost like we're transmuting on the spot.
Exactly. But not always works the way you expected. And
Right.
this is very important. And that is something that it was, since that day, I'm going to tell you what happened. And since that day, I swear to you, this works always, okay? But it doesn't work sometimes the way you expect it. So you have to trust. It comes the thing about, that's why I said, I let go and trust, I let go and trust. I went to Dr. Ihaliakala and I said, oh, this doesn't work. You know, I'm cleaning, but this doesn't work because it wasn't working based on my expectations, you know, on a situation that I had at that moment. And it wasn't resolving, you know, the way that I was expecting to resolve. So there is also a story that he didn't say anything in that moment, but then, you know, he cleaned, he waited for the answer, you know, what is the right answer to give me? And he came and he looked into my eyes and he said, no expectations. And since that day, I swear to you, this really, really works every time. But again, you don't know what is right. So you have to actually let go of your expectations of what you think is right or what you think is the way, to accept that everything is perfect. And sometimes you have to go through the tunnel in order to see the light.
So if you have a judgment on someone, that judgment could persist. You might have to clean on it a whole bunch of times.
Yeah. And it's about what I was saying before, no? You keep living in the past, how you're going to change the future? You're going to keep attracting the same thing because you don't want to let go, because you want to be right. Because you want the other one to apologize. Listen, let go of that because you are hurting yourself. You're not hurting that person.
Speaking of attraction, you said attraction. A lot of people are into the law of attraction. It's a law. It's out here. But with Ho Oponopono, you don't have to be aggressive with that law of attraction because the more you clean, right, more things just kind of drop on your lap.
And there is the right things, you know, because sometimes you ask for things, but you don't know what is right for you, or what you think, oh, I will have this and then I will be happy. And then, you know, you have it and you're not happy. Maybe that wasn't it. So why not allowing the part of you that knows better, you know, to bring you what is right and perfect for you? So again, it's effortless. Yes. Now, easy to say, okay, because we all have problems, we all have challenges, and when they show up, sometimes it's not as easy to let go in the moment. But I always tell people, I let go as soon as I can. I let go. You know, I go back to the clinic. I go back to my senses. Yes. But sometimes I understand it's not easy, you know, to keep your mouth shut, you know, not to have judgments or expectations. But you want to be as conscious and alert and present as much as you can, you know, and that's what Ho Oponopono helps you to do. So you go back to repeating as soon as you can.
Dr. Hugh Len is an interesting gentleman. You mentioned him, of course. He's famous for the mental institution incident where he worked on cleaning the clients up, didn't even meet with them, and closed down the whole hospital because they all got better.
Yes.
And one of the things that he teaches is to be inspired by divinity.
Yes.
And the more clean you become, the more you get those downloads, so to speak.
Exactly.
And so the cleaner we are, the more we get those, right?
The thing is about letting go and letting go, like I said before, yes?
Yeah.
So the idea is how I could be, again, in that energy, how could I be connected? So moment by moment you clean. And yes, the more you clean, you know, the universe is always observing you, yes? So see that you are trying, seeing that you are, you know, committed, that you are having a compromise, yes? So the more the universe will connect with you, the more that will communicate with you, will find the ways to communicate with you and guide you. So when you are doing this, you are allowing for that guidance to come. Yeah. So regarding the law of attraction that you mentioned, it's not like Ho Oponopono doesn't work. It's a universal law, yes. But what happens is we don't realize that when we practice the way we were taught, you are using only the mental part. And the mental part doesn't know, yeah? And you are manipulating because we can do that. But you are also using a very small part of you. And actually, the manifestor is your inner child. It is your subconscious mind.
Yep.
So you are kind of working with the wrong part of you, yes? It could be temporary relief, and things like that. But the thing is that when you do Ho Oponopono, yes, you are working with the law of attraction, but from the subconscious mind of yours and working directly with divinity that knows what is right for you instead of your intellect.
What about working with clients? I mean, you do a lot of seminars and whatnot, but what about working one-on-one with a client and using Ho Oponopono to help them?
Well, maybe I should go back to my prior life of being an accountant, a tax accountant. I started practicing Ho Oponopono being a tax accountant. And I opened up my own practice because I always worked for CPA offices as an employee. And because of Ho Oponopono, I opened my own practice, yes? So I follow my own inspiration. And because of that, I let go of my own practice too. I took a lot of illogical decisions because of Ho Oponopono.
And you got a loan, you got an unexpected loan too, didn't you?
Oh no, that my loan went down. That my income went down. And I said, how am I going to do to pay all these people, that I already have with a new career or profession? And suddenly my bank says, oh, instead of paying so much, a mortgage, you have to pay this. And it was half, of what I was paying.
Yeah.
For what, because I had a variable tax rate, whatever. I didn't even know. Yeah. So, yeah. I'll tell you how it worked for me. The clients would come by themselves. I mean, I don't know, word of mouth. People would give my name and number. At that time, there weren't emails yet.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. And all the clients that came, they had tax problems, and I had to represent them in the tax audits before, the government here. And I got amazing results only because I was practicing Ho Oponopono. I couldn't believe it myself. And my clients, they are still waiting for a bill, to come. They would say, okay, try to get me an installment payment, Mabel, and then, oh, I'm not getting anything from, the government. And I said, no, you won't. You don't owe anything. So I got them refunds and things, but because of keeping my mouth shut and practicing Ho Oponopono. So I never had problems with clients not paying me. Again, I never ran out of work, on the contrary. And actually, I needed to be independent because that is what gave me the possibility of traveling with Dr. Ihaliakala because I was independent.
Mm-hmm.
That gave me the possibility of working part-time, and again, doing this. That gave me the possibility of paying for a lot of radio and TV shows that I did here for the Latino community in Los Angeles. I mean, I did, my career helped me, my prior career helped me a lot, but brought me to where I am now. Yes, and I'm really grateful. So sometimes you feel, how come I've been doing this, but then you realize everything is perfect. Yes.
Mm. And so when you were an accountant, you'd be cleaning while the client is right there next to you?
Not only that, but also during the audits. If I tell you the stories that I have, I convince auditors with things that I didn't know where they came from. I told an auditor, because my client didn't have any proof for the deductions. And I told her, look, I mean, to make this kind of money, he has to have deductions, and they look reasonable. And she looked and they said, yeah, they look reasonable. Go figure, where did I get that from? You understand what I mean? Only inspiration. Okay, it wasn't like I went prepared to the audit and I'm gonna tell her this. No, I would go blank, nothing, being present in that moment and answering without thinking. Inspiration is acting, speaking, moving without thinking. You understand what I mean? And then you look back and you cannot believe what happened. Then I had another audit where this lady was very tough. I had to meet with her for a second time. The first time she didn't believe anything to me. Okay, well, we keep cleaning. The second time, it was like my best friend. You know, this person had changed, like she was a different person. And she was friendly and everything. And I was told this was not a client of mine. The CPA office that I used to work for asked me to help them with a client of them, you know, and represent this client of them. And they had told her, you know, this will look like fraud, you know, your tax return looks like fraud. So, you know, maybe, you know, the penalties for fraud could be very high. But that depends on the relationship that Mabel makes, you know, with the auditor. And in another moment, Kevin, Mabel, that used to be perfect, you know, had to be perfect and care very much about what other people thought or was gonna say, would have, you know, been very, very pressured. But, you know, I smile when I heard that because it depends on my relationship. All I have to do is clean, yes? Well, 0 penalties, not only not fraud penalties, no penalties at all. Yes, she owed money in that case because it was definitely all the deductions ended in 0, you know, like made up numbers, you know. So it was impossible that she would take it as it was, but the penalties could have hurt, and no penalties at all.
Wow.
So, and that was for me doing the cleaning. That this is what it convinced me the most, to be honest with you. My relation with my kids too, yes, but my profession, you know, my tax profession was what it convinced me more about Ho Oponopono. Because I mean, you know, you could be very spiritual and it's great and it's important and it's the foundation, you know, it's your foundation. But if you go to the extreme, no extremes are good. You understand what I mean? You have to find the balance. We are here now.
Well, I look at it like, I like to use the word programming. So we're programmed.
Yes.
From mom, from dad, from society, from past lives, perhaps. And that's the subconscious, right? Spitting out this data, this programming. And so Ho Oponopono helps us to deprogram.
Exactly. You are erasing those programs. Exactly.
Yes. And so when I feel
the
like
only way to attract something different. Otherwise, it's like Einstein said, insanity. Keep doing the same thing, expecting different results.
And some people pray directly to God, and it works. They have amazing stories.
Yes.
This is just slightly different, but same concept.
But you're working with God, you're praying to God, you're asking God, but not with the list.
But you're going to your inner child first.
Yes, but it is automatic. Yes, I talk to God too.
Yeah, me too.
But I know, but I don't need to understand that that is going. Talking to God, let's say it could be a cleaning tool. You understand what I mean? Coming to God is always a cleaning tool. You understand? So it's not like I talk to my child to go to God. I talk to God. For example, I have an amazing story to tell you, something that happened to me 2 weeks ago. I went, first of all, you know, I was taking a group to Mount Shasta here in Northern California, and it got postponed because of the fires here in California. Okay. So, so at that moment, I said, I do need to take a break right now, you know? So I said, and I usually go every year to Mexico for my birthday in August. So I said, do I go to Los Cabos or Puerto Vallarta? And I waited for inspiration, yes? So the inspiration came Los Cabos. So I get to Los Cabos in Mexico, and they are now suddenly a hurricane is coming, okay? And I did an amazing exercise. I went through like talking to God, like being in front of God, reviewing my life, you know, and saying to God, hey, you know I was not perfect, but I'm satisfied with what I did. I did the best I could. I did the best I could. Yes, I want to stay. Yes, but if it's my time to go, I go happy because I feel I gave my best, I did my best, and I'm happy. And if I have to go, I'm okay. Yes. Well, that same day at night or during the early morning, the hurricane changed course and it went to Puerto Vallarta. Okay, remember I had the question, do I go to this one or that one? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
But that exercise that I did, and that was directly with God. I didn't sit down or I didn't tell my inner child, let's talk to God. No, I went directly. Okay. But sometimes I tell God, God, this is too much for me. I need help. Okay. Or many times I tell people, just hold God's hand. Yes. And you are doing the cleaning. So it's not like you have to do or think about what you are doing when you are talking to God. Yeah. Now I come back to Los Angeles and somebody writes to me and says, there is a hurricane right now hitting Los Cabos. I mean, crazy. So I always tell people, when you do this, you are at the right place at the right time with the right people. Trust. Okay. Maybe the hurricane, even if it hit, it wasn't that I was at the wrong time at the wrong place. It was because I had to leave that. But I mean, this showed me how we are guided and protected when we allow it, when we ask. Okay.
Sure. This inner child, though, it needs some attention, doesn't it? Because we don't even know he's there usually.
It feels abandoned many times, neglected and things. But as long as you start being conscious that its existence, and you start communicating more and including him or her more in your life. And when I said him or her, I don't want you to think that if you are a boy, you have a boy inner child. It could be the opposite, okay? So don't think that if you feel that you have a girl instead of a boy, no, I might be wrong. No, maybe you're right, and it's okay.
It's interesting for me. I was doing inner child work, and then I found Ho Oponopono, or it found me. And I was like, oh, this is similar to what I was doing with talking to my inner child, except it was just more, a little more explanatory.
Dr. Ihaliakala used to say that if you're looking for your best partner, is your inner child. That's your best partner.
Yeah, he says that's the #1 relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that takes me, sometimes I wonder if the inner child is a representation of Jesus too, because then there's Mother Mary. So there's the mother, there's the child, son, God, who knows?
Yeah, who knows? And the most important thing is if you believe it works, not that you have to, or related to whatever works for you, Like, for example, some people says, okay, when you are saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me, or you are saying thank you, who are you saying it to? And sometimes I tell people, you don't need to understand, just say it. But let's say that you need to understand it. Okay, you are saying it to God, yes? But if you feel that you are saying it to your inner child, do it. What works for you? The thing is, you do it. It's not about understanding. It is about doing it. So just do it.
It's about love and trust.
Exactly. Being a child again. We have to go back to being children again. Stop thinking so much or trying to understand so much.
Dr. Hewlett, and I don't quite have his full name mastered, so I call him Dr.
Hewlett.
Yeah. How old is he now? Is he in his 80s?
Yes, late 80s.
Okay.
Yes.
So, when I did the Ho Oponopono training, it was like 15 years ago. You were in it.
Where were you? Where was it?
It was in Texas.
Oh, wow. With Charles?
It was with Dr. Vitale and Dr. Hewlett.
Ah, the one with Dr. Vitale. Okay, got it.
And you came up, you talked for about 15 minutes.
Yes.
I think the easiest way just came out.
Yes. Well, yeah, it was kind of new. Yes, actually, I think Dr. Vitali, my book was one of the first ones that he read about Ho Oponopono, because actually at that moment there wasn't anything about Ho Oponopono, only my book.
Right. And Dr.
Yeah.
Vitali, being a good marketer, really put it out there.
Yes, yes. So I always say thank you, because thank to him that made this famous, you know.
He's still promoting it.
He's still promoting it.
Yeah.
And people found out, a lot of people found out. He opened a lot of doors.
Yeah.
Because of his marketing skills. And that was great.
And I think Dr. Hugh Len saw that and he was inspired to go with him, right? In the beginning.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, he didn't do anything without checking. Yes. So, yes.
Right.
We needed a marketing, some marketing for Ho Oponopono.
Yeah. And
not many people knew.
Yeah.
And yes. And yeah, you know, we used to be always the same reviewers coming back and coming back and coming back. And we always, and some new students here and there, and the new students would come and say, how come there is no more people here? More people need to know about this. And but he was the one really making people aware of it. Yes.
And most of the audience were therapists.
A lot of therapists would come, but not all the therapists would stay, because when you tell the therapist that the problem is in them, not in their patients, right. They don't like it.
Right.
And again, not that you are guilty, but if you look at it as an opportunity, clients, patients, you know, customer service, you know, whatever you are, hairdressers, you know, everybody's coming to dump on you. You know, their problems, but all you have to do is clean and allow God to correct. What is it in me? You know, that these people are, you know, this person is telling me this.
So using the famous incident as an example, Dr. Hugh Len would sit in his office,
yes,
with a folder, and he'd look through the file of someone who's a murderer.
Yes.
And he would say something like, I'm sorry. For whatever.
Well, in that moment, remember, there were not the 4 phrases. The 4 phrases came with Joe Vitale. That was Joe Vitale. So Ijaliagala was not doing the 4 phrases.
Okay.
But it was working with God about, for whatever is in me, that this person killed the mother, you know, or abused somebody or whatever. He says, I'm sorry.
Forgive me for my part. And my brother.
Exactly, knowing that he was there because he had common memories with the murderer. Yes. And that didn't make him a murderer, you know, or something, but it made him responsible. And he knew that whatever would get erased from him, he would get erased from them. And that's why we always say you don't need to talk to anybody. You don't need to be close to somebody to resolve a relationship. Like you said, the subconscious mind is one. So that it gets erased from you, it gets erased from the other person. We always said it gets erased from your family, relatives, and ancestors. And now with the DNA studies and everything, we are all family. You know, we are all related.
So Dr. Hugh Len would go through file after file after file after file for like 4 years, right? Or something like that.
I don't remember all the details. He told me I have interviews with him, but I don't remember all the details.
Yeah.
But he's been there. Yeah, he was there for some years, and all he would do is sit in his office and do the Ho Oponopono clean.
He's a trained therapist. Like he was
a clinical psychologist. He well, you know, he had a teacher, yes, Morna Simeona.
Correct, yeah.
And he would tell us that when Morna did consultations, the person would come to the office and Morna would say, okay, start talking. And her desk was completely clean, yes? But while the person would talk to her about her problem, she wouldn't even look at them. And she would start opening the drawers and getting things out of the drawers. And by the time, you know, the consultation ended, the The desk was full of stuff, but at one point, and she wouldn't say anything to them. And at one point, the person that came for the therapy would say, "Oh, Morna, thank you. I'm feeling much better." Okay, so and Dr. Hulen would say, "I was trained that you have to look at the people's eyes, your clients or your patients' eyes, and like paying attention." No, she would do this kind of consultation. So what was she doing? She was doing the cleaning, and it's about
In her
allowing
head.
God. It was, yeah. Ho Oponopono is mental. Because everything is mental. Everything is whatever your thoughts are, whatever you are thinking, whatever you are. So that's the realization we have to have right now. How is it that we create?
I had a moment the other day. It's just Sunday, a few days ago. I don't know. Everything just came really clear and very present. And I could see my thoughts as just clouds. Like there was no effect. I just laughed at them. They were just funny.
Beautiful.
And I went on a walk. And it was like brand new. It was like everything was wonderment.
How beautiful.
And I slept great. And I woke up the next day and it was gone. And I was frustrated.
But just thinking about the experience, yes? It gives you a completely different interpretation of problems or of life, of who you are and everything.
I want to get back to that.
Well, just think about it. Not everybody is that lucky to have that experience. So you had it.
And it lasted too, at least a good 6 hours. I want it back now. I will get it back. It's just practice. Discipline.
And you know what? Maybe connecting more with nature will bring it back.
Yes. Yeah. So it's just this discipline of keep
being aware is what I told you. Instead of meditating 20 minutes in the morning and at night, why not to be in this meditated state by using the Ho Oponopono, to be in that state and to be able to have more of those experiences.
It's interesting you say that.
To be able to see how God sees, not how we see.
So I practice centering prayer, which is a form of meditation.
Which one?
It's called centering prayer. It's a meditation.
Oh, okay.
And the way it works is you're supposed to say a word every time a thought comes, and it brings you back to center. The other day, it just went right into my Ho Oponopono automatically. I didn't even do it purposely. It just, I was like, oh, it's automatic.
Yeah. It's a beautiful sensation when you realize you are in automatic. But the other thing is, whatever brings you back to present. You understand what I mean? You can get your own tools too. You could even ask for your own tools, or when you have a problem, you can say, how do I erase? How do I clean with this? Yes. And maybe something that you heard before it comes, or maybe something new that you never heard before.
I like to hug a tree and do ice blue.
Exactly. Or, or you touch the flowers. Yes. You go and you just say ice blue too. Yeah.
And there's a whole bunch of them. There's
the tools,
light switch.
Yeah. But that's why people think it's just the 4 phrases. But we have many ways to do it. And again, you can get your own tools, because maybe, this prayer that you said, that's your tool too. And, and you switch from, and sometimes it's the thank you and I love you, or, So what is it that works for you? That is important, and that you trust that.
So one of the things that Dr. Hulen taught in this training was the subconscious mind, the inner child, also has control over your cells, your physical body.
Exactly.
And
takes care of your body. Exactly.
Right.
Like I said before, it does your breathing and everything. Yes. And that's why if you have a illness or whatever, you can always ask the child, please let go. But lovingly, not let go.
Right.
Please let go. And you are patient. Yes. It's very important. Like, for example, with illness or whatever, again, that you don't resist, because what you resist persists. Because maybe and let go of expectations, because maybe the illness is still there, but it doesn't bother you, or it doesn't get worse, or it doesn't interfere with your normal life, and still there. Like, thank you, but I'm busy.
Right. Well, yeah, I'm a nutritionist, so I come across a lot of people who are not well, and they want to heal through nutrition. So I could be
it's very important, very important.
I could be cleaning for them too.
Yes, exactly. Well, like we said, you are kind of a therapist too. Yes. Yeah. So the idea is the clients that come to you, or your patients come to give you one more chance. So you are also, you will, by inspiration, you will get what that person needs, instead of, you understand, like, okay, this works for everybody, or this is, and maybe you come up with new things, to recommend people, because you work with inspiration.
We're starting to get close to the end here, so I want to know, what's Dr. Hugh Len like with the camera off? He's an interesting guy.
You have to know I'm not in contact with him since 2009. Okay.
Oh, okay.
How he used to be. I mean, I'm very grateful to him for teaching me the Ho Oponopono, but for saying to me that all I had to be was myself. That was the best advice he gave me. Yes, because I thought I was going to have to train on public speaking or things like that, and she told me, no, you just have to be yourself. And that's really the easiest way. And also because he taught me how to trust God 300%. Being with him, it was really, you wouldn't doubt that God existed, and he was an amazing role model. He
was very connected to divinity.
Unbelievable. So that was an amazing experience for me. Now, the other thing that I have to tell you that sometimes I share with people is he had a temper, and he would get mad at us because, we wouldn't, we would come with questions, intellectual questions, and things like that. And he would get like,
well, he was stern to the audience members at the seminars. He would be like,
yeah, he's not like, now he was very funny. And sometimes he was very funny. One day we came back from a training, and he told me, every time we came back from a training, he would say, Katz, what did you learn today? And actually when he asked that, something came like, yeah, today I realized this, or I went deeper on this, or now I got it. I heard this so many times, but now I got it. And one day he asked me, what do you think about how was the training? And I said, well, if it was my first training, I would have never came back. And she said, why? He says, the way you treated people. I said, I would have never, come back, and he would tell me, I heard divinity told me, give it to them. Otherwise they won't get it. Give it to them. Yeah. So he had a temper. He wasn't, always that caring. He wasn't always that happy, but he was an amazing soul. And I understand his frustration with us. Because again, we keep being intellectual, we keep trying to understand, we don't trust, we don't let go, we say we let go, but we don't. And somebody that has that connection and that trust is hard for somebody, it's frustrating. I think like it's frustrating for us right now, seeing so many people asleep, with everything that is happening. And we don't understand. How come people don't realize what's happening, And it's like we listen, we are in different frequencies, like you are listening to one thing and the person next to you understands something totally different.
Yeah, he would get annoyed.
And you get frustrated, I understand.
He would get annoyed with audience members when they would ask a question. He'd be like, no, Don't ask a question.
Yeah, no, clean with your question.
Right.
Clean with your question. So then people wouldn't ask, yeah, because they were afraid. And then he would say, don't let me scare you, you know, or something. If you have a question, you can ask.
Well,
But yeah, he would make that statement. And that is important, to know that your questions are memories and that you can clean with them. That is
right.
important. That's a very important statement, you know.
Right. And he kept drilling it
Pounding on
home.
that, yes.
He kept
Like,
pounding on it.
yeah.
So
And also he could tell when people would come from intellect and want to be right. And you understand what I mean? Just, you know, how come this can work? This is ridiculous, or things like that, or I just want to be right, you know, or have the last word. And I mean, he would get really upset with those people. He could tell where they were coming from.
How about people that start unearthing trapped emotions? Like, we tend to have like these trapped emotions in us sometimes.
Yeah.
And
Well,
Ho Oponopono can like, they could really stir it up.
Well, you have to be patient too. Yes, it's not like, oh, I said thank you and they went. You know, you keep working on this. And again, who you are giving the control to. It's the same like fear. You know, you can always say also to fear, I'm busy right now. You know, thank you, but I'm busy. Or I'm not buying. You know, we are buying these things. So the stories and everything. So it is important to be patient, know that you are, and again, our inner child is also our emotional mind. So you can also talk to your child, please let go. You know, let's choose to be happy instead of right. You know, many times when people discuss these things, that I don't have any problem because I'm still intellectual and I can understand intellects and I can relate to intellects very well. But I tell them, listen, if you are happy, keep doing what you're doing. You know, you don't have to change anything if you're happy. Now, if you are not happy, maybe you want to look, you know, at yourself and say, maybe there is something that I need to change.
With Ho Oponopono being so simple, why do people still come out into the seminars and everything? Don't they have it by now?
Well, sometimes we make that statement, but I also tell Kevin that the people that come back are the ones that really get it. Yeah. Because you don't get it in one seminar, to be honest with you. Again, like I told you before, Dr. Hulen would ask me, what did you get today? You know, you always go deeper, yes? Because the training is for the subconscious mind. And also the cleaning that happens. The people knows, some people can see the cleaning, you know, that happens during the seminars. So a lot of people come for the cleaning. For example, some people participate even in absentees. I used to also participate in absentee if I couldn't make it, because you see results. You know, you know that things happen. For example, every time I took a training, it's like I was cleaning more. You know, I was more conscious, a little bit more conscious. I started seeing moving and functioning. And this is not about getting people's money. This is really seeing results. So I took it like 200 times or more, I don't know. But every time I learn something. And now when I teach, I always learn something. And you go, again, a little bit deeper, you change your perception, you know, and that is important. And again, you keep training your inner child, yes? So your inner child is listening to this and is getting, you know, more and more, and knows that you are committed too, yes? So it's gonna help you.
Yeah, and the other thing that I've discovered too is that if someone's around you and they're negative, or let's just say you walk by and the news is on and it's negative, that's more data that's coming in to be stored into your
you don't want to store more, yes? You don't want,
so you got to clean on the spot.
You want to try to not to accumulate more, yes? We have enough to clean already.
Right. Okay, so where can people come find your work and learn more about you?
Well, if you come to mabelkatz.com, that's my website, you will find out about events and things happening. I have some memberships, I give classes monthly. I created a lot of zero frequency training. Zero frequency is like my trademark to help people to find their purpose, their passion. I feel a perfect world would be one that we all do what we love. So I created zero frequency to make it to make Ho Oponopono more intellectual, to be able to share with people what helped me to be more aware, to clean more, to let go more, and but also always concentrating on what would you do even if you don't get paid because you love it, and not because you have to do it for free for the rest of your life. But in the beginning, you volunteer, you check, you do it, and then you start growing.
Yeah, and you have a very nice Instagram as well. A lot of
yes, in Instagram,
Spanish.
Mabel Katz.
Lot
A lot in
stuff,
Spanish, yes, but
Yeah.
we try to take care of our English speakers too. So to remind people, to let go and trust. So yes, LinkedIn, in Facebook is Mabel Katz fan page, but in all the other ones, it's just Mabel Katz, my name.
Last question. Are you drinking your solar water?
I'm drinking my solar water, sure. At least doing something, we need to drink water. Why not solar water? Yes.
You just put a little splash in?
A little bit of the solar water will solarize the whole thing. Yes.
Yes, thank you. It's been a pleasure.